Welcome back, everybody. My name is Tucker, this is Sporting Logically, and today I wanted to take a look at a few guys in the Western Conference playoffs that could cash in with a nice new contract this summer when they hit free agency, provided they have a good showing in the remaining games in the playoffs. I did this last week with the Eastern Conference as well, so if you missed that video and enjoy this one, be sure to check that out. I mentioned this the first time, but I'll say it again just to be clear. I'm focusing more on players like Kelly Olynyk, who parlayed a few big games in the playoffs for the Celtics last postseason into a big contract with the Heat this past summer, rather than guys like Paul George that we already know are going to get big deals. Let's get started. I'm going to begin with the most obvious one, Clint Capela of the Houston Rockets. I debated not even putting him on this list because I think the team will match any offer in his restricted free agency just to keep him around. But ultimately I decided he belonged on here because how he performs over the next few weeks could greatly increase the value of the offer he ends up receiving. My reasoning behind thinking that the Rockets won't let him leave is because he is almost a perfect five-man for Mike D'Antoni's system. He's athletic, runs well in transition, takes up space inside as a rebounder and shot blocker, and is a great roller and lob target for Chris Paul and James Harden around the rim. He has areas to improve in, such as getting stronger and becoming a better free throw shooter, but even if he only marginally improves in those areas, he has already proved to be an extremely crucial cog in the Rockets' machine. However, if he continues to put up 20 and 10 performances like he did in Game 1 against the Timberwolves, he could become a much more expensive luxury to keep around for Houston. Next up, we have a guy that has really surprised me this season for the Oklahoma City Thunder, Jeremy Grant. On a team with such star power, I often find myself impressed with the effort, activity, and versatility that Grant provides. Though not a great three-point shooter, he does a lot of little things for the team and has played a number of positions on the floor throughout the year, even being thrown in as a five-man in certain smaller lineups for Billy Donovan. Though not a high-volume shot taker, nor as good of a free throw shooter as I would like to see, he's had his most efficient season from the floor this year, just in time for his free agency this summer. Obviously, the Thunder will have much bigger priorities this offseason than re-signing the young forward, namely trying to convince Paul George to stick around. But they shouldn't be surprised if a team throws a pretty sizable offer Grant's way this summer if he continues to be a shining light in an at times uninspiring roster. Moving on to the third spot, we have Jazz guard Dante Exum. It seems like pretty much everybody outside of Utah has forgotten about him as he has dealt with a number of serious injuries already in his career. In the 14 games he played in the regular season, didn't catch the eye of that many people without a vested interest in the team. On top of that, he hasn't had a great showing in the postseason so far, playing limited minutes and only finishing in double figures in scoring in one game in the series versus the Thunder so far. But the thing that fuels Exum's potential restricted free agency interest is something that's always been the biggest draw to his game for NBA front offices: potential. He turns just 23 this summer and hasn't even played in 200 NBA games yet. As a long athletic guard that still struggles with his feel for the game and jump shot on the offensive end, he is just the kind of player that other teams may look at and think they can develop into a real weapon with the right combination of player development and patience. The good thing for Exum is that it looks like he will have a few more games at least to showcase what he can do this postseason, as the Jazz need only one more win to advance to the second round. If he can add just a little bit of substance to his already intriguing game, it could really pay dividends in a few months. Last up, we have Golden State big man Kevon Looney. There are actually a number of players on the Warriors roster that could have been in this spot, namely Patrick McCaw and JaVale McGee, but I've been especially intrigued by the young big man out of UCLA. Though not an outstanding athlete nor a highly skilled player at this point in his career, his activity level so far in the team's first round series against the Spurs, specifically in Game 1, has really caught my eye. Just like the other members of this list, he's still young at 22 years old and is coming off his rookie contract looking for a bigger deal in restricted free agency this summer. His regular season stats are certainly modest, but are a relatively big improvement from his prior 2 years in the league, as you would expect for a player seeing a career high in minutes per game. I wouldn't expect anything big to come his way this offseason, even if he continues to impress with his activity and defensive ability off the bench for Golden State. But I could see a scenario in which a team attempts to buy low on the potential of Looney developing into a solid starter at the 5 spot at a relatively cheap price. one that the Warriors would likely be hesitant to match, with a payroll that already puts them at the top of the league for this past season. And that is the end of the list. Thank you all so much for watching. If you liked the video, then leaving a like rating is a great way to let me know, and if you'd like to see more videos just like this, then be sure to subscribe to Sporting Logically for more content every single week. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you all next time.